impression the game you get out with what you put into it. It's like a walk of life. If you're good enough, go out and get it, no more about it.
But not so much control in the centre of the field from Kilkenny as Richie Bennett sends it high and over the bar.
Your mother sends you down to the shop for a pound's worth of goods and she gives you 50 pence. You can't get the pound's worth of goods, can you?
Just about kept in. Oh, well, God, Shawnee Buckley. To do that to Tomas O'Shea, he deserves to score from here. One of the highlights of the Sunday game.
Limerick went out there from the word go today. No more about it. They made all the running, that was it. Put the ball over the bar and the back of it, and that's it. No ifs, no buts.
Is there much time left? We have a couple of injuries. Here comes Kieran Curry. Curry leading the charge of the right brigade. 45 metres out. He's a chance to score. He's put it hard.
There's no sympathy in this game for anybody.
Hello, and you're very welcome to episode 314 of Treaty Talk. Tom Clancy back in the hot seat and joined once again by Matt O'Callaghan after Matt had a week off. We gave you the week off, Matt, but you're back now.
You're so kind. Tom, I believe you celebrated your birthday in the last couple of days.
I did, yeah. Well, the zero's gone
happy birthday, Tom. Belatedly, like.
Thanks very much. The zero's gone off the end of it anyway, so...
is it?
We won't need to re-emerge. We'll be talking about birthdays now for another little while anyway. But
we won't talk about the rate of VAT in it, like, or anything like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. No, the VAT is getting bigger on it now as the years go on. I'm also in transfer limbo at the moment, Matt, between clubs. You'll be breaking news there for you now. Probably not quite like the Shawnee Johnston 1 years ago, but
you're going to Bruff.
We'll see. No, closer than that. But we'll see. Not Kenny, yeah. We'll see if that one gets over the line. It mightn't make the headlines like so many others would down the years. But anyway, we're definitely not here.
Football team anyway. I see they're in the county.
Yeah. We'll come to those. There's good. There's a
championship.
Yeah. There's Junior C and Junior B. There's a plethora of new teams in the football, re-emerging clubs. So it's good to see.
Malak and Kenny and Patrick's well emerging.
Yeah. Now Kenny actually in the Junior B haven't played last year as well. So it's
they did. That's right. The
new Junior C football championship. So we'll come to those later in the pieces just to look at the draws for the men's championships, which were made earlier this week. But we're certainly here to focus on matters coming up this weekend, and indeed it is the start of the National Football Leagues for both men and women in the green of Limerick. And I'm delighted to say we will be focusing on ladies football for the next 20-25 minutes or so. And we're joined by Mike Quilligan, joint manager, and Yvonne Lee, joint captain of the Limerick ladies football teams. Yvonne, Mike, welcome to the podcast. How are you?
Not too bad, no. Yeah,
good. Yeah, we're in, there's a storm impending at the weekend, but that won't bother you. You hope Mungret, Mike, is at the venue Sunday. So National League Division 3, unlike the men are going down the way you're on the way up, and you're hoping, I suppose, that you can start this Division 3 campaign on the front foot, because it is definitely a step up for the team, but you have familiar foes in your way on Sunday in the form of Down.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we're delighted to be up another level, playing, I suppose, better opposition from the start of the year this year. So yeah, look, we know Down well. They've really pushed on since they beat us in the Junior All-Ireland final 2 years ago. So huge task ahead of us Sunday. Look, every game in this division is tough. They bring their own challenges, but we're ready for it, and looking forward to it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yvonne, congratulations, I suppose, on being selected as the joint captain alongside Roisin Ambrose again for 2025. I'm sure a very, very proud honour. You'll be, I suppose, hoping to lead the team to glory later in the summer, in terms of, obviously, that junior championship is certainly in your eye line, but this league is where you're going to show what you're made of, and you're going to see, can you improve year on year, which I think it's fair to say you have done, but maybe see, can you get to another level again as a team and as squad, and as an overall group.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it's a huge challenge ahead, as Quick was saying. Like, playing at the division is great for us, and stronger matches before we do get into the championship. That, I suppose, is the end goal, but at the same time, the league here is great for us, and we'll be able to compete at it a little step further.
Yeah, Matt.
Mike and Yvonne, you're very, very welcome. Mike, obviously there have been changes to the panel this year. There have been some newcomers. We spoke about one in particular off air, but there have been others.
Yeah, look, I suppose start of the year, we knew exactly where we needed to add. We made a few changes last year. We obviously couldn't do it all at once, so we wanted to add a bit more steel and experience this year. So we've a really good blend of experience and youth again coming in, but we're definitely stronger panel this year. So looking forward to getting started.
Yvonne, Limerick could have been described last year as the nearly girls, beaten in the league final, narrowly beaten, unluckily beaten actually by Carlow, and then losing the All-Ireland semi-final.
Yeah, even this year was brilliant for us and we were delighted, but I suppose it would have been nice to have the cup at the end of the league last year. But we're still delighted to be up, as I said, it is unbelievable to be playing those harder matches in the league. And then the way we for the championship, so it could be the nearly at the same time. I do think it's great motivation for us as well this year because we have such drive and we don't want to be in that position again this year.
Tom?
Yeah, and just looking at the league, obviously you mentioned Down this weekend. It's probably no harm to start with 2 home games, Wexford to come the following week, Yvonne. So while the home games don't guarantee you 2 points, it's certainly it's a good platform to go out and hopefully collect those wins that you want early on.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a slight advantage, to be fair. You don't have the travelling, and if we're Down now, it is a very long journey for them coming down, so it does add to it. So we're lucky in that sense with Down and with Wexford to start the league with home games, and hopefully then we'll be ready to go for the rest of them when we do start travelling.
Yeah, and Mike, it's been a long winter in some regards. I'm sure it's been a busy one for the girls. You've been running the rule, I'm sure, over players in trying to get them into the panel, trying to get themselves into the panel, obviously. Can you tell us a bit about the preparation that has gone in? I think I've often say it about the ladies' game in both camogie and ladies' football. The levels have certainly gone up in terms of what is expected of players. So what have you done with the players over the winter to, I suppose, get them fit, get them up to speed and get them at the level that you desire for this Division 3 campaign?
Yeah, look, it's definitely gone up. County teams are pushing the boat out every year. It seems to be a higher standard every year. So you look for starters, you're trying to find, I suppose, a start date that's suitable to give girls rest that are still involved in club or may have been finished earlier on in their club championship. So you're trying to come up with a start date. So we went back out actually in the end of October, so you're back early enough. We got a new S&C in this year, so started straight away with the S&C, and obviously we weren't allowed on the pitch until December, which in my opinion was a good thing. Usually you'd be back on the pitch earlier, but just to give the girls extra break, they got stronger in the gym. So there was gym probably October to December, and back on the pitch then from the 1st of December on. And we've actually introduced more challenge games as well this year. So, and while keeping the S&C going, so there's a lot of work, a big block of work on them before you get on the pitch in a competitive game at all. So the standard's actually gone really high, I suppose. We're trying to add to it every year, push the girls out, challenge them, see where they can actually get to, physically before we get on the pitch, So, it's all go, trying to find that balance between girls who need breaks then, because they're only finished or they've gone deep into Munster Championship, and keep the girls to a level that have been finished early or who are in with us from the start of October. So it's challenging, but it's good. It's good. You're just trying to really push them to see where we can get them to before we get them on the pitch. Give them every chance.
Yeah, no, you kind of glossed over the panel there, and there's one name that jumped off the page to me in the form of an All-Ireland winner from 2018, in Rebecca DeLee, someone who's obviously lined out in both codes for Limerick for so long. Her experience at intercounty level, I'm sure, invaluable to younger players, invaluable to the group, and obviously then her quality on the ball and on the pitch, very, very important to this group, I'd say, for the year ahead.
Yeah, she ticks. Look, we know the players. We wanted to add a bit of steel, a bit of experience, because we have some good young players on the panel to complement them. So look, Rebecca ticks all them boxes. She's won All Irelands at this level. She's played at intercounty camogie level. She's winning counties at club level in camogie. So she ticks all the boxes. We were delighted to get her in. So she will add. She's already added, a lot to this panel. So yeah, delighted to get her in.
Mike, can I just give you a statistic about Rebecca, which you may know? Yvonne is smiling. I remember her coming in 2018. She came in the final round of the group stage against Carlow.
Yes.
She played in the All-Ireland semi-final against London in Mallow, and she played in the All-Ireland final against Louth in Croke Park. She scored 6-5 from playing the 3 games.
Yeah, we know the threat she has. Yeah, absolutely. Look, she's very direct, very powerful. She's her style of play is ideal for intercounty level. So she's a fair goal threat, her eye. So hopefully she carries that over. If she even does half it for us this year, we'd be delighted. That's some stat now. Yeah, I actually didn't know that stat.
That's a factual stat.
She set the bar very high for herself there. So
I'll be going back to her training tonight now, thinking, listen, this is your standard now.
Yeah, what's that? That's 3 games, Matt.
That's your benchmark, Rebecca.
That's basically 2 a game is the expectation. So if she's going following on from 2018.
Talk to us about Cathy Mee. She has committed for another year.
Yeah, look, Cathy's she's the ultimate professional. Yeah, we weren't sure we were going to get her last year, so we thought it was a real long shot this year. But no, she's committed for another year. Look, ultimate professional. You want to keep players like that around the panel, as long as possible. If she never played a minute, which she's going to play a lot, obviously, but she never played a minute. For them, we have a lot of young girls coming through, or a lot of girls that may be new to intercounty. So it's just about. Cathy be brilliant for them. She is brilliant for them, and obviously she's still performing on the pitch for us. So, vital, delighted to have Cathy in for another year. If I could sum her up, is just the ultimate professional at intercounty level. Like,
Yvonne, I know you mightn't agree with me, but at club level in 2025, it was an excellent year for Limerick ladies football, and we saw the fruits of it with Mungret St. Paul's going on winning an All-Ireland Junior, and St. David's going through to the Munster Intermediate Final. It was a very, very good year for club football in Limerick, which augurs well for the county team.
Oh, absolutely, it was and it's getting more and more competitive every year, and that's the way you want it. And I suppose, as we can see inside and with us at the moment, it is so competitive for places. So the standard in club increasing is definitely benefiting us inside in county, because positions are up for grabs, there's pressure on people, and that's the way you need it inside in a county group. You need everyone to push going, and that's it. It's just fighting for your position for every match.
Limerick LGFA, sorry Tom, I'll let you in a second. Limerick LGFA have a very good structure for their championships, all the way down to novice.
Yeah,
they have a good structure, and to be fair, it's well set up, and we are, to be fair, it's getting better and better every year, the things we're getting. So hopefully it'll just continue to improve.
Yeah, just to go back to the panel and to put it to you, Ivan, I wouldn't be familiar with all the players in the county nor on the panel, but there's a lot of names there that we're seeing for the last 4 and 5, maybe 6 years in some cases, and even longer maybe in other cases. But there's that continuity that maybe wasn't there for a time where there was, you'd have a Jekyll and Hyde sort of a squad where you'd have experienced players one year and then you might have kind of rookies the next year. There's been a slow build in terms of keeping players involved, getting that continuity, and it's probably starting to show then in terms of the results and the performances, because you can't achieve much if you're losing 15-20 players off a panel year on year and trying to start again. And I know the management will know more about that than you, but certainly from your point of view, looking at your teammates around you, there must be confidence when you know who's left and right of you and who's in front and behind you. That is just there's a very much a continuity in terms of who's there every year.
Yeah, definitely. It's a huge advantage, because I think the last 3-4 years, there's continuously the same girls coming through, and then every year you're just adding to it. I think in women's sports the turnover is very high, so it's amazing for us to be able to build every year, because it's as you said, it's very, very difficult if you're changing every year, because you're starting from fresh. You need to do the whole bonding, getting to know each other. But now we're actually going into it, it's similar, there's similarities to club, everyone. It's just like a turnover, and you're just ready to go again for the next year. So it's a huge advantage, just building and then picking, as Quick saying, finding where we might need to improve and finding girls that can fill that spot, and that's definitely been done this year.
Yeah, and Mike, the fact you're in Division 3, I saw last weekend Division 4 started, and I see there's a senior team in there. It is Leitrim, that is, I think, are still in Division 4, but they're a senior team. For ye, the fact playing at Division 3, maybe you touched on it at the start there as well, but you'd hope that the teams are playing it, there's a lot more intermediate teams in it than there is in Division 4. So you'd really hope it'll sharpen you later in the year. Obviously, you know, the league is its own priority, but, you know, you'd hope that, you know, like the last couple of years, there was a couple of maybe lopsided games in Division 4 that maybe you didn't learn an awful lot from while you were winning them. But maybe, you know, looking at the round on round here, there's probably going to be huge learnings, huge, you know, I suppose, huge interactions with other teams here that will stand to come the junior championship.
Yeah, it's 7 games, like week on week. Every game brings its own challenges. They're all top teams, they're all intermediate teams, and some of them have been senior in the last couple of years. You know, like the league is it's treacherous really, because as you say, there could be a senior team down in Division 4. Like you say, it's all intermediate teams. You know, almost in Division 3. But it's brilliant. Like you don't want them easy games, although you love to get the points and everything. But ultimately, you want to challenge your team as much week on week, you know, before you go into a Munster Championship or Championship. So you'll certainly get it in Division 3. Like you look through the fixtures there, or even our first 2, you know, even if you perform them 2 games, there's no guarantee you'll get the points, because the opposition is so strong. So it's brilliant. It brings its own challenges, and there'll be a lot of learnings from week to week. You know, out of these games, and I think we've 2-week breaks in the league this year. I don't think we had that last year, so that's actually massive, because when you're going week on week all the time, you don't really get much time to work on what you need to work on from the previous game. So no, it's brilliant. We're looking forward to it.
Yeah, just to look at the fixtures, you have a block of 3, as you say, Down and Wexford up first, then a trip to Offaly on week 3, as you said, and there's a 2-week break before you travel to Carlow, and then the following weekend you will be playing away to Laois, another 2-week break, and then the final block of 2. So a block of 3, a block of 2, and a block of 2. The last 2 games, just to round them out, at home to Louth, and then away to Cavan. Mungret is the venue, as I said it already. Is that going to be the base for the year, or are you still maybe at the whim of facilities and weather and pitches? And obviously Mungret are a very forward-thinking club, but is that the hope that Mungret will be the base for the league anyway?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, you want to base, but we're at the mercy of the weather, unfortunately. You know, so the plan is, you know, to play our games in Mungret, because the facilities are good there. You know, there's plenty of park and warm-up areas, and obviously, you know, they're after winning All Ireland this year, so there'll be a great buzzing around there. So that is the plan. But look, the weather dictates. You know, we're trying to. It is mayhem, and sure. Look, every county, you know, every county last year or every year has the same problem. One stage last year, I think, was the Longford game. We had to change pitch that morning, you know. So it's, but that is the plan, absolutely. We'd love it to be the base for all our games.
Mike, it's our first year back in Division 3 since 2017, which wasn't a very pleasant experience in Division 3. Are we setting a minimum? Obviously, consolidation is a minimum target. Are we setting a target for this year?
Absolutely. Look, first and foremost, yeah, consolidation is absolutely the target. But you know, we're not putting a limit on it. You know, we day to day, like if we perform, we're well able to compete with these teams. And look, last year would have given us loads of confidence going in against Leitrim in what was basically a promotion final, you know, and we went toe to toe and we got over the line, and sure, you see them winning an All Ireland after. So look, I know it's league and it's different to championship, but absolutely consolidation. But there's no reason why we can't, you know, ruffle a few feathers, as they say, and, you know, maybe challenge. It's a straight final, which I don't really agree with as well. They've done away with the semi-finals at this grade. I think there was a bit of uproar over it, but look, will it be difficult to make a final? Absolutely, but you know, it's about this time of year. It's whoever gets their house in order the quickest. Funny things can happen, so we'll just make sure that we get our squad into a position that if there is an opportunity to do something to make a final, or even be in contention for a final with a couple of games to go, we'll make sure that we're ready to take that opportunity. Absolutely.
Yvonne, a very strong representation from your club, Mona Game. Very handy to have such a strong representation from one club, forming a bit of a nucleus of the team.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, like it's the club are very proud of us, like, to be involved, and it's great to be alongside people like that you're used to playing with as well. But it is great to get in and play with the best around the county as well, and meeting all the other girls, because I suppose in club you're against each other and you're fighting against each other, but it's great that you know the girls off the field and getting to know them on a more personal level. So like, it is lovely to be mingling with all the other teams as well, because I suppose it's kind of part of what sports is about, as well as making the friends.
Right, you put the club stuff aside so really, and you forget what happened in last year's championship. You that's what you're mad on. Yeah, just
Well, that wasn't the gist of my question. The gist of it was that if you have a bulk, I think you have 7 or 8 in there, that it has to be advantageous. That people that know their game and know one another's game has to be an advantage.
I suppose it is, yeah, definitely. But like, as we're saying earlier on, a lot in the county have been playing together for 4 years, so it is similar to, we're so used to playing with each other. 7 or 8 of us obviously in Monaghan, but in the county setup, we've been playing together for the last 3 or 4 years, so we're so used to each other on that side as well.
Yeah, and Yvonne, the fact you're playing down the weekend obviously always reminds me of that disappointing afternoon in Croke Park. But how close you were that day, has that fueled you and fueled your teammates since, and say we were not that far away from winning a title in Croke Park, because very very fine margins that day. Obviously down the opponents this weekend, but it should probably lend you to believe that you'll be at the business end of the junior championship again this year. I know the semi-final defeat last year, but maybe how close you were, makes it easier to come back and makes it easier to try and go again for this year.
Oh yeah, definitely. Kind of, it makes you want it more as well when you do get a taste for it, and you want to be able to say that you did win it. So it definitely gives you the motivation to want to keep going, and hopefully to get that step further. Like, whether it's down or anyone we're playing this year, it's just, you really want to have a bit of silverware at the end of it.
Yeah. Matt?
Mike, obviously you've had a few departures now. Down have had, that I'm pretty sure, have had 3 departures from the side that beat us. They departed this year. Amy McVeigh, Ciara Byrne and Orla Duffy, all in defence. We've had a couple of departures as well, have we?
A couple of departures, yeah, absolutely. So there's a bit of changeover in the squad, between either travelling or just have opted out of coming back. So, yeah, I suppose while we have good continuity, we still have lost a few this year. So, so it's just about dealing with it and moving on. You know what I mean? There are 3 strong players down have lost this year, in fairness. But look, they've added to their squad since that All-Ireland final. They've added strongly, so we're trying to do the same. So no, we're happy enough with what we have in. Yeah.
And Mike, before we let you go, go on, Matt. Yeah.
Final question, and tis to Yvonne, and tis very much a topic at the moment. The recent survey and the popularity of women's sports and the lack of role models in women's sport, and the whole integration thing, of course, is looming in the background. What are your thoughts on that?
I suppose, like, growing up myself, like, I suppose I wouldn't have been too aware of women's sports myself, or like the older generation that would have been playing. So I do think there's an increase that they are more aware now, but it would be lovely to get it to a level that would be similar enough to and closer to the male sport. So it's just constantly pushing it, and like, the LGFA are amazing at what they're doing so far, so hopefully it'll just continue. And I do think it would be great if they joined in the long run. I really do, for women's sport.
Yeah, very well said. Yeah. And Mike, just before I let you go now, and I'll let you both go on this, we had the draw yesterday. I suppose there was no real need for a draw at senior hurling, and there was one need, of course, in football. But you're facing into the prospect of being a dual senior player next year with your own club. Obviously, your management career aside, your playing commitments. You must be thrilled to be able to say that you're part of a Newcastle West squad heading into senior hurling again. It's been long overdue, I suppose, for the team and the town to have hurling back at the top table for Newcastle West.
Oh, absolutely, Tom. Yeah, Jesus, brilliant. Look, I suppose we were laughing at the start of last year, myself and Mike Mack. We're the 2 oldest on the panel now. He's still 2 years older than me, but anyway.
Right. Yeah.
But we were saying, obviously, we've represented the club well in football, and we've been very lucky to have a successful few years, and hopefully it continues. But we said before we retire at all, if we could get a year or two at senior hurling, it would really, put the icing on the cake. So absolutely delighted. So looking forward to it. Again, it's like a group of death. Geez, there's no easy game in it. Every week is a battle, like the Premier Intermediate Championship, in fairness.
Yeah.
So no, absolutely delighted. Looking forward to the challenge of it. We'll hang on for 1 or 2 more years and see what we can do up there. Anyway.
Fair play. Yeah,
Mike, just on that point, Mike, immediately after the county final, when I interviewed him, I committed the cardinal sin of asking Mike had he any plans for retirement.
Oh, listen, he'll be going longer than me, and I'm in goals and he's outfield.
I'd say that word isn't in his vocabulary anyway.
No,
I never heard that word.
Absolutely not.
4 or 5 years.
It's a great character of the game, and in both codes, in fairness to him. Mike, Yvonne, we must wish you the best for Division 3 and indeed the subsequent championships to follow. Hopefully we'll see some silverware and indeed some success on the field for the ladies this year, and hopefully big support in Mungers in Sunday and beyond for the season. So thanks for joining us on Treaty Talk, and we'll be chatting to you during the season.
Same, lads. Looking forward to seeing you on Sunday.
Brilliant.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks, lads.
Okay, there was Yvonne Lee and Mike Quilligan joining us. So Matt,
they put in a supreme effort. They put in a supreme effort last year, and it just came up short in that final against Carlow and Boran in the All Ireland semi-final. They've done a tremendous job. And I'm quite happy that there has been a lift in the standard of football in Limerick, and we contested the All Ireland under 16B final last year when we were beaten by Parish the Thought Antrim. As I said, I was at the Knockany ladies football celebration the other night, in which they were celebrating winning 4 competitions. They won the Senior League Division 2. They won the Junior C Championship. They won the Under 19A Championship, with a team that has won every grade up along at A level, and they also won the Under 16B. But at the end of the night, Charlie McCarthy, who was there, who was manager of the Limerick Under 16 team, presented All Ireland runners-up medals to Tara Hines and Ailby McNamara. But it'll give you an idea that Limerick ladies football is in a good place and is making measurable progress, which is fantastic to see.
Yeah, it is, and it's great to see new teams at an adult level, especially affiliating, and the structures we've beaten that drum so long here. Like that's a starting point for it. There's no chaos in the championship. It's people know what they're involved in, people know what they're signing up for, and then let the competitions go ahead and let them happen. And the way they were streamlined the championship last year, was just copybook. It was fantastic, and the structure that they have, which I lauded a number of times in this medium, where it gives opportunities of new clubs to come in, and we can see new clubs coming in because they're coming in with an opportunity, and there is a pathway there to progress. Sure, in 2015, Galtee Gales fielded a Junior B team for the first time. They played Senior Football Championship last year, 9 years later. Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah.
That'll give you just a sense of, and what happened in Mungers didn't happen by accident. St. Ailby's were distinctly unlucky that they didn't win a Munster Championship. So, things are really looking up. But one point that I want to make, and it's about this dual player dilemma. Last year, of course, this shouldn't have happened under no circumstances. Limerick were playing the All Ireland B Under 16B final on a Saturday, and they were playing the All Ireland Under 16A semi-final on a Sunday, and there were 4 players involved. That simply, Tom, is not fair. Has to be avoided. Now, I understand. I'm hearing that 4 of those players are opting exclusively for Camogie this year, and that there's only one pursuing a dual career.
Right, yeah. Well, I don't disagree with it, especially at under 16 level. Yet the players have their chance, but I do think the era of dual players at adult level is more or less gone at intercounty level. I think, while
Absolutely. And I
yeah,
think it is true because, and I think of the great dual players of the past, the Ray Cumminses, the Jimmy Barry Murphys of this world, our own Eamon Cregan, Bernie Hartigan, great footballers
Yeah.
as well as hurlers and people like that. But the level of commitment for one county team is such that I think virtually impossible, for in this day and age, and the commitment and level of preparation that's demanded, it's impossible for a player to serve two masters.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see how the ladies get on Sunday. 12:30 p.m. is earlier start than maybe than might be normally the case, but 12:30 p.m. throwing in Mungret. So do get along and support the ladies in their quest for, I suppose, more good times ahead in Division 3, hopefully this year. And obviously, as you said, their sustainment in the division. Number one priority in what is going to be a very, very competitive division indeed. Matt, I think we should stay on the football trend and looking at the men's side of the house now, and they're into league action this Sunday afternoon as well. I think it's a 2 p.m. start in Longford. So we were speaking to one Lee, where we're going to speak about another now in the form of Jimmy Lee leading the Limerick team for this season. Division 4, Matt, we're back to where we were in 2020, which Limerick won to get out of in 2020. So, look, we had a roller coaster ride in between, but it's time now for Limerick to start making the first steps back towards, back towards Division 3, and indeed, start winning league games again, which hasn't been done in the last couple of seasons.
I'm reluctant to say that it was a monkey on their back because. They were competitive in most of the games last year, and I think probably the start that they got, and I've been saying this, the start that they got in Division 2, Tom, was simply awesome. Like a trip to Derry in the first match and then a home game with Dublin, Like what Limerick needed back into 2 years ago was to get a winnable game in the first round and hope to pick up a couple of points. As it happened in that year, they just picked up a single point in round 5 from a home draw with Meath, and it was sort of downhill after that. And Limerick didn't win a game last year, so we have to go back to 2022 for Limerick to win a league game. But the less said about that now, the better. We've started to look to a new beginning, and there are wholesale changes on the Limerick panel.
Something like 16 gone again, I think, is it?
Yeah, there is.
Around that.
All for various reasons. Sean O'Dea has retired, and we'd like to pay tribute to Sean O'Dea for absolutely tremendous service that he has given. He has given to Limerick over the years, and of course was a Sigerson Cup medal winner with UCD back in the day. So has won a couple of leagues with Limerick, but he was such a stalwart for so long, that he will be sorely missed. But there are others departed for various reasons, gone abroad and not available, and it's the usual. But as you rightly point out, Tom, 16, it's a very, very big turnout, and I think that comes after 17 the previous year. Yeah.
So that's a full panel. That's a full panel in 2 years has come and gone.
It's huge, but I'm very optimistic about the panel that I see there now.
I'm just looking at it here, Matt. We've 3 from there: Jeffrey Alford, Oran Collins, Paul Maher. 2 from Mesquite and Ballyseen, Kilcorn, and that's Danny Neville and David Shackness.
2 very good players there now.
Killian Fahey of Drumborodford is the team captain. Then Father Casey, who had no representation last year, have 4 this year.
4 very good players again, which we saw in the county championship. Fikra Cotter is in there, Mark McCarthy is in there.
Dermot Buckley and Rory O'Brien, and Rory O'Brien, I was very impressed with him throughout the year. Just to continue through the panel there, 3 from Galty Gales, that's the Childs brothers, Robbie and Tommy, and then Sean Clancy makes up their trio. Gerald Griffin's represented by Colin McSweeney.
Colin McSweeney has been playing in the Sigerson Cup with MTU.
Right, yeah.
He played last night and he played in the previous round.
MTU Cork or Kerry, sorry.
Cork,
oh yeah, sorry. They were playing each other last night, that's why it was in my head, Just to continue through the panel, Peter Nash, Tony McCarthy of Kildine Palskenry, the notable absentee there of Mr. Downs. So just 2 from Kildine Palskenry. Conal O'Din, Dara Murray, Dara O'Shikru and Taig O'Shikru of Monaghan. Jamie Bainham is the representation from Monaghan. I think he's the only player from outside of the senior and intermediate clubs in Limerick, so he's still at the junior A grade. Premier Junior, that is, sorry. Jason Hassett, Jack McCarthy, Ronan McGilligan, Darrow Hagan, and Killian Ryan. I think 4 of them are new faces. They're all Mungret St. Paul's.
The only outgoing
Killian
face
Ryan.
there is Killian Ryan, and
Yeah.
Darrow Hagan is having a very, very good Sigerson Cup. You saw him last night.
I did, yeah. We'll come to that momentarily, but yeah, involved with it well. Newcastle West.
Jason Hassett, he won a John Kevin's Cup medal last year. He captained Mungret to win the county under-20 football championship last year. We have to say last year at this stage yet, but
yeah.
what I mean by last year is 2024. And he was outstanding during the competition, and unfortunately he had to come off in the final with an injury. But they still won it. But he's a very exciting young player.
Yeah, he certainly is. We've Ian Corbett, Emmett Richter, Rowan O'Connor, and Darren O'Doherty from Newcastle West. Josh Ryan represents Ula, and it'll be interesting to see, I presume, goalkeeper, but we'll watch with interest on that one. But could be a dual role there for him. Adam Shanaher, Andrew Mead, and Barry Coleman of Rathkeil, and Barry Coleman is one of the vice captains. Adam Shanaher, has had a very, very good 2024 in both codes. So he's drafted in.
Andrew Mead was in the panel before. And he certainly on his championship performances last year certainly deserves his recall to the panel. But Tom, if Paul White was only available.
Oh, I know, yeah. It'd be expensive to be bringing him in and out of Dubai, but anyway, we'll see.
So look, his performance in the county final was one for the ages,
Yeah. And just to finish out the panel, then you have Cormac Wolfe, another man involved well, and James Knocken there from St. Sennans, and then Kyle Mullins, a youngster from St. Pat's, is involved as well. So that's just the panel as it is now anyway, and I'm sure it may change time to time during the year, but that is certainly what Jimmy Lee has at his disposal for now, Matt. Looking at the league, so it's a Division 4. Division 4 is always actually a very difficult one to call because there's so much upheaval in all 7-8 squads. It's very hard to know who's going to be strong and who's not. But
you'd have to think though, Tom, like that Limerick and Longford would be among the contenders for promotion.
Yeah, you would. Yeah, the winner, whoever wins on Sunday, will be certainly looking that way straight away and thinking, right.
Yeah, that's the point. Like that, the fact that they're possibly promotion contenders heightens the importance of next Sunday's game. Yeah,
and you also have Carlow and Tipperary. They're playing on Saturday evening. Wexford play London on Saturday evening, and just trying to think where the other two teams. Just escaped me there. Yeah, is it Waterford and Offaly? I think, or the other. Sorry, no, Offaly are a division higher. Sorry, no. I've completely lost the Division 4 fixtures here in front of me. But yeah, sorry, Wicklow and Waterford. Wicklow, of course, came down with Limerick. Yeah, so we seem to be involved moving divisions with Wicklow a lot. I think that's the third time in 4 seasons we've moved with Wicklow, or maybe they've moved. In between,
they have an aversion to coming to Limerick. I think I only remember them coming to Limerick once. We always seem to be
heading for Auckland, Yeah. No, Limerick beat them in 2020, and that was actually the reason Limerick won Division 4 was the head-to-head rule that time. So yeah, we'll see how it plays out for Limerick, but we'll be optimistic, positive ahead of Sunday. But it's very difficult to know how Longford will be. We haven't seen any of the preseason competitions.
Well, and stuff like that. I know that 2 of their stalwarts have retired. Mickey Quinn, who is a legend up there on that talisman, and Darren Gallagher, a big, powerful midfielder. He has departed the panel as well. Now they have a new manager. Paddy Christie pulled out at the end of last year, and Mark Solon, he's come in from Mayo. He managed Mayo to win the All Ireland under 21. It was under 21 then back in 2016, and he was involved with Andy Moran's backroom team in Leitrim, so he would be quite experienced. And I read that there were others that left the panel that wouldn't be as well known, but they brought in a lot of young players, and Longford aren't after a very bad run out underage level at minor and under 21 level.
I
So,
seem
like,
to remember them beating Dublin last season or season before in the 20s, which was very much almost unheard of for them.
it was a great day's work. But
yeah.
So like they have a lot of young players, you know, and maybe a new voice will gel them together. But we've beaten them in the last 2 times we've met them. So we you know, we'd be hopeful.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Last time we beat them was in the Sigerson Cup.
Yeah.
And the
Yes,
previous time we beat
Gaelic
them in
rounds.
the opening round in Limerick.
In 2022, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
A Saturday evening game, in the Gaelic rounds. Okay. Look, we'll see how it plays out. It'll be interesting to see what counties can adjust to the new rules the quickest, because that could be very, very important. Who has really, really got to grips with those, and we'll see how Limerick fare out over the 7 rounds, and if indeed they can finish in the top 2 and indeed earn a trip to Croke Park. But small steps, I'm sure, for Jimmy and Go get back on that winning horse is probably the ask of them. Matt, Sigerson Cup, we're down to the last 8 now as of Tuesday. Well, we will be down to the last 8 by the time people probably hear this.
Maynooth are playing St Mary's tonight to complete the last 8, and then I presume the draw will be taking place later tonight between the Division 2 winners and the Division 2 winners in one pot and the Division 3 the Round 2 winners in one pot and the Round 3 winners the other. I think that's
it. Yeah. So just to bring people up to speed in terms of UL anyway, obviously we mentioned Darragh O'Hagan, Cormac Wolf, both started last evening in a 3-8 to 14 points win over what was NUIG, or it's now University of Galway, and a bit of a back to the wall performance from UL, but they really took their goals when they needed, and that puts them back into it. They went all the way to the wire with University of Ulster last week. We one of the favourites. The holders, and indeed probably the favourites again this year. Pipped out, but obviously this format allows it. UL had won their first game against ATU Galway, and this kind of gives them the backdoor option, which they availed of last night. So they've beaten the 2 Galway sides. They lost to Ulster, University of Ulster by a point. And as you say, now going against one of the winners, one of the teams that have won their 2 games to date, and had a rest week this week. So that's the Limerick involvement there. Obviously, Declan Bruder of Newcastle West, Johnny Buckley of Drumboadford, part of the management team there. Declan heading it up as well. So it'll be interesting to see who they draw from there. You mentioned Limerick involvement, with who was it? It was Colin McSweeney, wasn't it?
Oh, Colin McSweeney played with MTU. They were beaten last night by they were beaten 4-12 to 2-11 by 2-10 by MTU Kerry. Now this MTU Kerry lost heavily in the opening round to DCU Docus Éireann, and have since knocked out the 2 Cork schools, UCC, unfortunately, and now they've knocked out MTU. And Colin McSweeney was playing with MTU, and he that's at least the second appearance he has made in the Sigerson Cup. And of course, Colin, from Gerald Griffins, is a member of the Limerick senior squad.
Yeah, so his Sigerson is over there.
He first played with UCC.
Okay, yeah, so he's
I think won a Sigerson with him.
Lining out at full back last night, but didn't go their way, and they're out of the competition. So that's the Limerick involvement is now solely focused on UL, and I suppose we'll know next week a bit more about the latter stages.
There was a chap from Waterford last night, Andy Dunwoody, scored 2-5 for MTU Cork.
We've seen him in the 20s, I think, wasn't it?
Yes.
In the last couple of years against Limerick, yeah.
He did.
One to keep an eye on, 2-5, 2-4 from play, I believe, as well. So
that's right.
Yeah,
correct.
that was impressive shooting from him. Okay, sorry. So just looking at so that's the third level football. Matt, we might as well mention the set go to hurling now, and maybe
before we go to hurling, Tom, the Munster Junior B Championship is progressing.
Oh yes.
It's organised, very well organised by Knockaderry GA Club, but for the second year, due to ongoing improvements in the Knockaderry facilities, it's being held in Paddy Carroll Park, Ballygran. And last Sunday, Burgess from Tipperary, they defeated the Clare champions. But this week we have
Shannon, wasn't it?
We have Wolf Tones. But this week now, St. Kieran's are playing this Sunday at 2:00. They're playing Rowan Moore. Now, and Rowan Moore footballers wouldn't be exactly strangers to us, Tom. If you recall, they won the quarter final of the Munster Junior Clubs Championship last year against Grange Mockler Ballyneal, but came up very short when they played the Limerick champions, Mungret St. Paul's, 192 points. Now, there may be some crossover between those two teams, but I think St. Kieran's on paper, they have been very, very impressive in the West and very, very impressive in the county championships, and had a huge win over Mungret in the county final. And I would be expecting Mungret to get, or St. Kieran's to get over that and set up a semi-final place in 2 weeks' time, 2 weeks later, against Goleen from West Cork.
Right.
Now, if you know West Cork, Goleen is a long, long way from Ballygran. Long, long way.
Everywhere in West Cork is a long way from everywhere.
it's further south or further west than Ballydehob.
Right. So they'll probably be the furthest southwest team that has ever played in this competition. That's what you're telling me, because
probably maybe Crookhaven, I don't know.
Okay, very good. Right. So we'll see how St. Kieran's can fare in this one, and obviously.
I would be disappointed now if St. Kieran's don't win, because they have a good sprinkling of players with experience, none more so than Johnny McCarthy and Anthony Mulno, Seamus Mangan, Ian Mackesy, John Doyle, like all those fellas, like they have,
Yeah, that's a fair cohort of a teams for the second
team. Is another,
Yeah. No, they'll certainly be strong, I'd say, and be hard to beat, and be interested to see can they go all the way in this grade. Okay.
Well, you'd hope so. Now you're just bringing me around to remind you that Ballybrown won it once.
I didn't bring it up, Matt. You brought it up. I didn't want to say.
No. But tell me what. In fairness, now you were angling towards it. The Tipperary champions won it for the first time last year. Other than that, it has been the Ballybrown in 2017 won the Tom.
It ran into 2018, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah.
I don't even remember now the years. Yeah, it would have been
Ballybrown and Shannon Rovers last year were the only two to gate crash. What is the preserve of Cork and Kerry, mainly Kerry.
Nearly always Kerry, yeah. Well, again, if I was to give advice to anyone from St. Kieran's, our method towards victory was very simple. Don't train and play away. So no bother. There was very little tactics to it. Now maybe in the 7 or 8 seasons since things have evolved at Junior B, but I don't think they'll have evolved that greatly.
And manager Mike Mann wasn't sure he had a football.
Yeah. Well, we had a few of them, all right. So no, it was a very memorable run indeed. But hopefully St. Kieran's can join Ballybrown.
But it's on at 2:00 in Paddy Carroll Park on Sunday, so would be a very, very interesting game to go around to see.
Absolutely. Okay, moving to hurling now in Limerick, not in action in the upcoming throw-in in the National Hurling League. Now, 2 groups of 7, Limerick in 1A, which I suppose the creme de la creme. So not in action, not an awful lot for us to say so from a Limerick point of view this week. They do play Waterford in a challenge game at the 2 Scaelic grounds this Sunday. 2 p.m. throw-in, €10 entry, kids go free. Obviously, it's kind of overlapping with the ladies' football game, so we do encourage people to attend the ladies' football, given it's a competitive game. But if not, if the hurling is your fancy, the Gaelic grounds might be the place for you. Limerick and Waterford in separate groups, so not in competitive action this week. So we might look at again at Limerick, Matt, before the big throw-in next week against Cork, where they travel to Cork away. We'll look at that in more detail next week. Looking at third level.
It really Sunday is the last audition for a certain amount of players to see if they're going to break into the starting 15.
Into the starting 15?
Yeah, for the league. For the game against Cork.
Yeah. Well, look, I look at this time of year, there's a big panel there, but then there's a few injuries. There's guys playing Fitzgibbon, and there's maybe some of the more senior cohort who are slowly coming back. So opportunities will be there for fellas. It's just, can they do enough to get them and take them? That's probably the thing, because Limerick not playing with a full deck, not that any county is at this point of year, but when you take out, John Kiley probably won't use Fitzgibbon players, for the first league game if they're still in the competition. So there'll be openings for lads there to maybe stake a claim.
Yeah, well, the likelihood is that most Limerick players will still be in the Fitzgibbon.
Yeah. Anyway,
By then, now the third round will be played. Now the second round is going on tonight and tomorrow night. Tomorrow evening, and of the Fitzgibbon, and you'll have the final round. But a lot could be decided tonight and tomorrow night, Tom.
It could. Yeah. Look, it's because of the timings. It's very hard for us to speak about this on a Wednesday afternoon when it's in action. But UL winners last week at home to. Forgetting who they even beat. SETU Watford, who featured a certain Barry Hennessy. But Limerick got UL got the win, and indeed Mary I left it late to get the victory, which included their team included Oisin O'Farrell and Shane O'Brien, among a couple of others. They were to the fore.
Barry Adams came on as a sub.
No, that's he came on for Toos. Midwest.
Sorry for Toos. Sorry.
Yeah, just sorry. But Mary I got up to, came from behind, I suppose, to hit 7 in a row to win up in ATU Galway. They're in the same group, so the two Limerick colleges going well there. And maybe after this evening, you could have clarity in terms of who's through. UL hosting ATU from 7:30 and Mary I on the road from 7. For their game, but again, by the time people have heard us, those games will be there. But we'll know. We might know who's in the top two.
It's possible that UL and Mary I will be through tonight if they both win.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And they have to play each other in round 3.
That third round game a dead rubber.
Yeah. Well, it would be playing for a home quarterfinal. That's the carrot.
Home quarterfinal.
That's the carrot for them if indeed it transpires that they both win. But a tricky assignment down to SE2 Watford, who, while the scoreboard ran away from them last week, were very competitive with UL for maybe 3/4 of the game. So look, we'll see. We won't count them easy. And Toos Midwest kicked off or threw in with their campaign with a draw at home to DCU, wasn't it? Yeah, the Docus Éireann last Thursday evening. So they are back in action, not till round 3 because they're in a group of 3.
They're in a group of 3, yeah.
So they'll wait, but that one possibly come down to scoring difference depending on the result in the
other team is Maynooth.
Yeah, so Maynooth and DCU. So we'll have a bit more clarity on what is needed from Toos to get through. We'll know a lot more by the end of this week. So that's it. But there's plenty of Limerick involvement across those colleges that we've mentioned. Eddie Stokes currently, presently as we speak, lining out in the college, the skull and crossbones for UCC.
I saw the UCC game last week. Eddie played quite well. I wasn't overly impressed with UCC. I'm disappointed to say, but they still racked up 29 points. On Downey wasn't playing, nor Shane Kingston, who's also on the panel. Not Shane the forward now, Shane the defender, the under 20 All Ireland winner. They were 2 at least, but Eddie had quite a good game, and they're playing. Is it ATU Galway tonight? I think.
It is University of Galway.
University of Galway tonight, and or tomorrow night. If they it's tomorrow night.
It's on right now.
Is it?
Yeah, as we're recording. Yeah, it's 9-6 in favour of UCC as we speak in the Mardyke. So anyway, look, we'll see how that.
Yeah, the games in the Mardyke are starting early. I don't know why.
Keep the lights off. Keep the electricity on. No, the lights are on. Anyway.
No. They started at 5:30 last week. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I actually thought that game was on Thursday. I was told up there now, so right. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, that's third level again. We'll bring up to speed next week as best we can. Games obviously happening as we speak, so it's very much changing as we go. Second level, or there was one Limerick team in action last week, Matt, one close to your own heart. It's Sculpole Kilfinnan last Thursday. Yeah. Squeeze out in the B quarterfinal, wasn't it?
It was the B quarterfinal. You remember they won the All Ireland C colleges last year, and they were up B this year, and they'd reached the quarterfinal when they played Bishopstown, and they played against the Breeze. When Bishopstown won the toss, Sculpole had, they opted to take the Breeze. They had a goal inside the first minute. A hopeful free that was delivered in, and somehow took a deflection into the net. They were 1-3, no score up after 5 minutes, and Skullpole came back and got a couple of 3 points. Carl Denny wasn't lucky with his third point. It was a screamer that was deflected over the bar. But by half time, Bishopstown had established a 10 points lead, and in a roles reversal at the first 5 minutes of the second half, Skullpole hit back with 1-3 to reduce the margin to 4 points. And you were saying to yourself, now with the breeze to their back, the momentum with them, that they were going to do the job. But they conceded 2 sloppy goals, in my opinion, which brought it back to 10 points. And so, it was back to square one, but they eventually brought it down to 2 points, and they just couldn't get over the line. Now, Bishopstown have subsequently lost the semi-final today to Scariff Community College. And they were played well in the final, a Clonmel team who defeated Abbey CBS, John Kiley School, and today. And of course, the Harty Cup final is a final between Thurles CBS, who beat Ardscoil Reach, and who beat De La Salle today, and St. Flannan's from Ennis, who narrowly beat John the Baptist on the way along the line, and who beat Northmont today. I won't try to pronounce the Irish version.
Right, yeah. So that's that. The Sigerson College Pallaskenry, myself and John covered it last week in terms of they had progressed quite convincingly, but I hadn't seen word of their semi-final. Matt, had you caught a glimpse of that?
Well, I don't know, but Skullpole were down to play Rathkeil in the Munster C-D semi-final on Friday, but I got a word of cancellation of it this evening on account of the anticipated adverse weather conditions.
Okay. Yeah, right. Well, oh yes, of course, the storm is coming. How could we forget? Anyway, yeah, look, as I said, once we've Sigerson College Pallaskenry's Munster C semi-final, once we have that fixture, we'll have it to hand. There's so much schools actually.
Yeah, they were beaten in the Munster C final 2 years ago by Mitchelstown CBS.
Right.
Who went on to win the All-Ireland. I was at that game. It was played in Kilmallock. They were very unlucky. David Fitzgerald, who is now on the Limerick senior panel, he was part of it.
Barry Adams, I think, as well. Since you mentioned him there a few minutes ago, was involved as well, as far as I remember. Okay.
But Anthony Nash was training Mitchelstown CBS, and he had them really hopping off the ground now.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the second level hurling. What else have we on the agenda, Matt? As if I have an agenda this week, but that's the hurling, the football, ladies football. Camogie doesn't get really into action until
the 15th of February, I think.
Yeah, so I think the fixtures were there, but yeah, so that's I suppose
we travelled to Down. Now we already had some of our underage teams out at the weekend. The minors travelled to Waterford in the preliminary Munster Championship, and they defeated Waterford after extra time 2-12 to 1-10. It was 1-9 apiece at the end of normal time, and they were in extra time. They really drove on and clinched it, and they're due to play Tipperary at a Limerick venue this weekend. So just watch out for that. Now, the under-16 A and B were out also, and they both lost to Tipperary. The A lost to Tipperary by 10 points to 9, and the B lost to Tipperary also 110 to 2-4.
Okay. Are they in action again this weekend, the 16s?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about the under-16s, but my information is that if they had lost last week, that they would be going into a Shield competition.
Okay, right, yeah.
So that possibly could be on this weekend.
Okay,
I think this is a preliminary Munster Championship, as distinct from the thing. I'm not 100% sure on it.
Yeah, you would know better than I would, but a wicked time of year to be going out trying to play.
I was talking to one of them the other night, Tara Hines, who won an All-Ireland under-16 medal. Now, there was a generous helping of that All-Ireland winning team on the minor team that was named.
Yeah, okay.
And you must remember that the Limerick minor team this year, the minor A team, is drawn from 2 back-to-back winning Munster under-16 championships.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that is it. And yeah, they're probably trying to pick the best of both, mash them together, and see what they can get. Yeah, so it's I know it's promising times, all right, and hopefully they can continue that.
Oh yeah, very, very promising times, and like you, if it wasn't the I don't think it's the Munster Championship hopper. I'd be subject to correction on that now. It would look to me to be more a bit of a pipe opener, or
Right, I have
that sort of thing. But
run out, yeah.
It did beat Waterford anyway by 5 points.
Okay, Matt, just to come back, I suppose I think that's all the present stuff, and in terms of action this weekend and maybe last weekend and stuff like that. Just to come back to the championship draws in hurling football.
Yes.
Now there was a bit of a redraw as well. Could you give us any? I don't know. Were you there in the evening, or was the information?
No, we weren't informed. I discovered that they were on at 5 to 6 last evening.
Okay, right.
And they were on at 6.
Wasn't something I was aware of either. I don't think, to be honest with you. But there was a redraw in a couple of different grades.
I'm annoyed about it, and I expressed my annoyance to the county board today.
Okay, right. But back
I just don't think it's good enough.
Okay, clubs would have been invited, I think, or would have been present.
Clubs were invited.
Right. Okay. So there was that, but it was a couple of issues with the draws.
Look, the draw was totally transparent, no problem in that regard. But I think there's some. I just don't get what the gist of it was. That they had to be redrawn.
Well, as far as I'm aware, there was issues with the seeding, and there is rules in each competition regarding who is seeded and who isn't. And obviously, the vast majority of teams are not seeded. As far as I'm aware, the 4 semi-finalists in the football are seeded, are to be seeded. And I think
to be seeded. They weren't seeded heretofore.
Oh no, they had been seeded. Yeah. So basically, for example, you had the 4 semi-finalists from one year. By chance, they could, if they were not seeded, they could be all drawn in the same group. That has not happened because they have been seeded. If you look. So basically, you end up with 2 county semi-finalists from one year in one group, and you end up with 2 in the other. Now, how they're drawn out is another story. But as far as I'm aware, there was an issue where Newcastle West were not put in as a seed. They had got to the county semi-final, as we know, but were not put in a seed. So that led to that being withdrawn. There was an issue with Killarney Palace Kenry were not included in the Junior A hurling draw. As we know, they won the Junior B last season. They were not included. I think one of the wrong club was in their place, so that had to be redrawn as well. And there was a couple of little glitches like that. So look, it happened. They've withdrawn, and I think I'd say most clubs are now, I suppose, satisfied that this is their group for the year ahead. And
most clubs can. But the issue I have, Tom, is this was something that was carried out in the. At the county convention for a couple of years.
Right.
And God knows the county convention needs a bit of beefing up, and I can't see why they wouldn't return there, that the clubs would be called into Áras na Moon, or is that what they call it?
Yeah, Áras na Moon, great pronunciation, Matt, yeah.
Is that right for pronunciation?
Yeah, I think so.
Áras na Moon, and separately, this should be done at convention. Like it was done transparently, but why can't we do it at convention? And then there were other years in which it was streamed.
Yeah, it has been streamed now for a few years.
Why are we keeping moving the goalposts? I honestly think that this should be reverted back to convention.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree with
you. Everybody knows county convention is on such a day. The draws for the championship for the following year are taking place.
Yeah. And just as well to look at the lower grades of the football, Matt. I know, we know who's who. I think Bruff have withdrawn from football is my information. They've not fielding a team this year. A team that had, I think, had gone from intermediate to Premier Junior to Junior A, and I think we're heading to Junior B as well after this year. So, or after 2024. So they've withdrawn now. Players in that parish can now line out with Rovers, who are now fielding 2 adult football teams. So look,
that's right. They're fielding a C team as well.
Yeah, the new junior C grade, which has, I suppose, a plethora of new teams, or I suppose
It has 7 teams in total.
Yeah.
A group of, is it, a group of 4.
No, 9 teams, isn't it?
It has 9 teams, a group of 5 and a group of 4.
Yeah, which is no harm to see. Yeah, sorry, I just have it here. Yeah, so Ballinacurra Gales would have been regraded down to Junior C. Kilmallock are now affiliated to Team St. Senan's Junior B team. I think has gone to Junior C. If they even had a Junior B team. Patrick Sweller re-affiliating a team. Drumbodford has second team. I think are gone down there. Glyn have a second team in. So Liberties have a team back. They had maybe been in Junior A a couple of 2 or 3 years ago, maybe. Atay have put in a second string team, and Camogue Rovers, as I just mentioned, putting in those teams. So good to see,
Very, very good to see. And if it encourages clubs to put in second teams, or indeed put in first teams,
if they didn't have them,
the competition is a success before there's a ball kicked.
Yeah, and of course the hope is that there won't be walkovers. The Junior B grade has got in football. This is now has gone to all county match. So
of course, and that was a new draw that was last night as well, because it heretofore wasn't involved in the county draws.
Yeah, it would have been divisional basis, but two groups of 6. I think that's good. That's streamlined a bit like the other grades. Teams know they're going to get the 5 games. Well, again, we're pleading for no walkovers, but Ula's second string, Knockany have a team, Knockaderry, that is their first team, isn't it? Brewery, who got to the semi-final, I think, last year. Kappa, second team. Skeeton Valley, Kilcornan, that's the second team. Galty Gales in the other group. Then this is our Galty Gales second team. Ballybricken, second team, I think.
Second team, I think. Yeah,
the Junior A and Junior B. Yeah, and the Pierceig second team. Galbally, second team. Knockon, a first team, and Killarn Palace Henry's second team. So look, the divisional competitions there, like, they weren't really working in terms of the city only sometimes had 2 or 3 teams. The West might have 8 or 9, the South might have 4 or 5, and then the East might have 3 or 4. Kind of a bit all over the place, a bit chaotic. They were being run at different times, whereas now you can run them concurrent to the senior, intermediate, junior grades.
There's just a small little bit of bottlenecks now, and I appeal to the county board here through this medium. Do not put on the 6 senior games on the one night.
Yeah, and
like happened in 2024. But like that, there's going to be a logistical problem facing the county board in referees and the number of referees, and like the referees at club level. It's going to be a bigger challenge for referees than heretofore, because how can all the referees get a full team of 6 with them?
Oh, they won't.
They won't. And it makes a compelling case, Tom, for double fixtures. Where you can have one set of officials officiating the 2 matches.
Yeah. I wonder, we'd love to see double senior headers and stuff like that. But I mean, I'm calling out Junior C grade there. And it's at the logistics of second teams and this and that. But I mean, is there merit, for example, Galty Gales second team playing as part of a double header on a Saturday evening or something after their first team? I mean, for example, if they played in Kilmallock a senior game at 2:00, I'm just going to say Galty Gales versus Newcastle West throwing in at 2:00, and then at 4:30 or 5 or whatever time 4:00 probably more likely.
Yeah,
you'd have Killarn Palace Kenry versus Galty Gales in a Junior C game.
Yeah, one of the problems with this, Tom, is the uncertainty of the weather in this country.
Oh, of course, and I use Kilmallock as a great example because it's a club willing to give up their pitch for any game of any description any time of year. But no, that's very much true. But certainly in the high summer months, there's merit in double headers. The longer evenings, the better weather, the drier pitches, we could certainly double them up to avoid, as you say, bottlenecks of postponements.
Well, after the first round, you could have the Junior B game as a curtain raiser.
Yeah, of course, I know, and I know some clubs.
It wouldn't work in the first round.
Traditionally, as well, some clubs have issues with, like they don't want. Yeah, sorry, you're right there about that with the grading thing. But some clubs don't want. I suppose the lower grades were always played after the senior grades. You see it in hurling, where a junior team for a club. A lot of the Junior A teams in hurling, for example, are second team, so they would play on a Sunday afternoon or evening, and their senior team might have played on a Friday or a Thursday in some cases. But yeah, there's a lot of logistics in the fixtures. I don't envy their
reason, I said it late last year. I thought the county board did a very good job last year, notwithstanding the 6 fixtures on the one evening. Because the amount of matches, Tom. The amount of matches.
Yeah.
You've senior football, intermediate football, Premier, Junior, Junior A, Junior B, Junior C. 6 competitions.
If you look at football, just to count it up quickly, there's 30 senior group games, then there's a relegation final, and then there's 2 quarters,
2 quarterfinals, 2 semi-finals, a final.
So that's 6. That's 36 senior games, 36 intermediates, 36 junior A, etc. Is there 5 or 6 grades there now with the exact same number of games on paper? Now I know there's walkovers and there's withdrawals as well, but
you're not talking about under 20 and under 20 A, B, and C, minor A, B, and or Premier A and B.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but for the adult football grades, you're looking at over 200 fixtures in the championship, and then you add in the 20s, you add in the hurling, and there's probably even more in the hurling. There is more in the hurling because there's more grades. But you could be for adult fixtures in championship alone, you could be at maybe 500 or 600 games to be played in a 3-month period or whatever it is. So yeah, it's interesting, it's challenging, but yeah,
not even you and me, Tom, could get around to all them.
Yeah, no, and look. I've spoken a lot about football there in terms of mentioning the competitions and who the makeup of them. Having played in the 3rd tier of football, Matt, for a number of years, and my own club, Ballyround, who I was lining out with, there wouldn't be that love of football in terms of support of it from people who don't have a direct connection. In terms of parishioners who maybe their son isn't playing or their nephew isn't playing, they're not going to go to football games. But what if it was doubled up with a senior game where possible?
What you're saying, Tom, makes sense. A lot of sense, in fact.
Yeah, and that's just one example. But I think the gates, I was at one game and there was, I'd say, 13 people paid in for a 3rd tier football game. Is there merit in that? And some of them would have been season ticket holders, so it didn't really matter. They'd paid regardless of how you do it. So yeah, I think it'd be nice to see a bit of creativity around the fixtures, even if they tried it a couple of times, and if it backfired, we couldn't fault the effort, in terms of trying to get interest in those games. And
if they try it, we assure them we will not be roaring at them in treaty talk.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, right. Before I lose my voice, Matt, I'm going to have to hit you well for a bit of hurling action. That's it, I think, for us on Treaty Talk.
What's the latest from the Mardyke there? Have you?
I'll come to it in a minute. Right. Thanks very much to Yvonne and indeed Mike Quilligan for joining us earlier. Thanks to you for listening. We'll talk to you again soon.